When do we start fighting back?
We have.
By walking away.
We fight to win.
That means we lose. And lose and lose and lose. Until we're ready. All you know now is how much you hate. You bank that, you hide that. You keep it alive until you know what to do with it. And when I tell you to move, you move.
Move!
I'm gonna watch me some Andor and podcast with Candor about this Star Wars show on Disney Plus. This is the second season, but it also is the last one. And Disney pulled the fast one, putting out 3 episodes at once. Yes, I am watching Andor and talking with Candor. It's what the Mandalorian man's for. That is my podcast show. This is the second season, but it also is the last one. It should lead right up to Rogue One, and we all know how that goes. This is a podcast on Andor called Andor with Candor, about that Star Wars show on Disney Plus. This is the second season, but it also is the last one. It should lead right up to Rogue One, and we all know how that goes.
Greetings, Star Wars fans, and welcome back to The Mandalorian Man Presents Andor with Candor. It's Tuesday night, May 13th. The final 3 episodes of Andor are here. They are amongst us, and I just finished watching the first one. Episode 10, make it stop. One thing I don't want to happen is for Andor to stop, but it is happening. I finally got caught up with everyone else in the world so that I am here watching these episodes as soon as they come out. I just started this one like a little after 9, just finished it a few minutes ago, and oh baby, like what a way to kick off the finale. You know that a lot of these characters that we've become connected to are getting their swan song. Like last week, we saw Cyril go away, and we saw Bix go away. We assume Bix isn't coming back. We know Cyril isn't coming back. And today we said goodbye to another character. It's funny, when I hit Disney Plus, it says Lonnie Jung or Young taps out, Dedra closes in, Luthen scrambles, Clea delivers. And my first thought was, who the hell is Lonnie? I don't know any Lonnie. And then I realized, oh, it's that dude who works with, the Empire that is kind of Luthen's man on the inside. And he was compromised. That's the big thing that kind of kicked off everything. He was compromised, but what really kicked it off was this distress signal. There was a light going off in the workshop, in the store, in the back, and Clea saw it and was like, uh-oh, what's going on here? I think she was going to go, it seemed like, but Luthen's like, no, I'll go. I literally just watched it. You'd think I would know this. Like, I'm looking at it now. She did answer the call, but Luthen's the one who says, I'm going to be the one to go. She was going to go. He's like, nope, I'll make the move. Don't worry. I think he realizes things are closing in and things are getting a little too, crazy. So his first thought was, I need to do what I need to do. And people have been expendable in the past, but I'm going to do what I can to protect you. Now he goes and visits this guy, and this guy's like, look, I've had access to Dedra's files for the longest time, and he felt the walls closing in, so he took his shot and he started going through everything. He's been burned, he said. Luthen's like, what the hell? He's like, yes, I've been burned, and I need your help getting out. My wife and my kids are secure right now, but we need to know where to go. And Luthen's like, what are they working on? What are they working on? Tell me what they're working on. And we'll get you out. We'll get you to Yavin. And my first thought was, I don't know. I wasn't trusting him right away until he did bring up Yavin. I said, well, Yavin is safe. And this guy doesn't seem to know where Yavin is. I like that. He's like, what's Yavin? Like, you'd think all these rebels are on this giant base on some planet and nobody knows about it. Well, because nobody knows about it. This guy works for the Empire. He had no idea who Yavin was. So he was like, they're working like everything that you thought they were doing, that mineral for power, for the power program, had nothing to do with energy. The energy program, nope. And I'm like, yes, say it, say the word. They're working on a weapon, this giant big thing. We know what it is. And it's like, this is the moment that the rebellion learns what is going on. Now, I assume, wait a minute. I just watched this episode. Did he and Clea reconnect? Guys, this is a Star Wars podcast, and I am just not great at this. But oh my God, this was exciting. So I just watched this, and oh yes, of course they reconnected. Oh right, nope, yep. I'm good. Okay, so he walks away, and we think, oh, good, he got the information. Now where's that guy? And once we saw the shot of the guy walking his dog, his space dog, and you see the guy still on the bench, I said, oh, he's dead. He's space dead. And he was space shot by a space laser, and he had a big space hole he had a space where his chest should be. There was a little extra space for the hole that was shot through him to kill him. Shot through the heart, and Luthen didn't care because he now knows. Oh, wait a minute. Shot through the heart, and Luthen didn't care because now he knows that the Death Star's there. Oh, okay. So he goes and immediately tells Clea, and she's like, I need to go back to the shop and get rid of all the evidence. He's like, I'll do it. I wish I could work on it. He has an accent and a gruffness, and it's perfect. And this isn't it. But he goes, and I wonder if she's thinking I'm never going to see him again. But he tells her everything she remembers. She's like, okay, Gorham, this, that, energy, space, boom, boom, boom. Like she remembers all the important things. Think about it. She is the one. She is the only one in the rebellion besides Luthen and this dude who's now dead. So now technically, at the moment in this episode, there are two people in the rebellion who know about this weapon, the Death Star. Right? It's the Death Star, right? They didn't say it, but they said it. Come on. It's her and it's Luthen. Luthen told her and now says, you need to go. And you need to, I'll take care of this. He goes to the shop. He pours what looks like liquid pewter, like liquid, I don't know, what's the stuff in a thermometer? Mercury, something like that. That's what it looked like. But he's burning it. And it was very satisfying watching this stuff pour through and burn and sizzle. And then there's a ring on the doorbell, and it just happens to be Dedra. Now, Dedra shows up, and there's a game of cat and mouse. Oh, is all this stuff real? And oh, are there forgeries? And he shows a knife, and I'm thinking, that knife, that's Chekhov's knife. That thing is coming back. Or a death blade or bleed blade or something. I don't know what he said. But he shows that knife, and she's like, do you own everything? He goes, no, there are some things I do on consignment. She goes, oh, that's good, because I have something I'd like to show you. And she pulls out this piece of this Imperial ship, right? Look, now, guys, if you've listened to this podcast long enough, you know that I am not good with facts, remembering things, names, plot points, and overall Star Wars knowledge. I lack in those, but what I lack in those, I make up for in just segues, like blabbering off and going into non sequiturs. Speaking of that, no, I'm just kidding. I'm not going to do that now. But the thing she shows him, is that the thing that they were trying to steal all the way back in episode 1 when he got Andor off planet? Is it? Weren't they trying to steal things out of ships in like a junkyard, right? Something like that. Whatever it is, it doesn't matter if it was. It's cool. It's a cool reference if it was, and if I'm correct, even cooler. If I'm not, more par for the course. But when she placed that thing down, and she mentioned it, and I think she knows that he knows, and now he knows that she knows, even though he probably already knew that she knew the truth of things. But the look on his face, the silent look on his face, like, oh crap. This is it. I could fake it because he knows exactly who she is. And he sent people to kill her, just a year ago. Didn't work out. But he's like, okay, he's staring at that thing. And that's when she reveals her true intentions, which are, you make me sick. You stand here in your little, while the world burns around you, and you do this. And, you disgust me. And he's like, well, you're too late. I loved it. He goes, you're too late. The rebellion isn't here anymore. It's in the galaxy. There's a whole galaxy out there waiting to disgust you. I loved it. And she was like, well, that's when she notices things burning in the back. And she's like, oh no, you've left a pot on. You burned your dinner. No, she notices it's something, burning in the back, and she calls in the recruits, and she says, you turn around. And she pulls her gun, and then that's when you see him drop the blade. He stabbed himself, but he didn't die. Gosh darn you, modern medicine, or I guess medicine from a long time ago in a galaxy far, far away. I had to say it. At that point, I had to finish it. So he gets taken off in a space ambulance. He's still alive. They said stable. I said, oh, crap, because we kind of want him. He wants to die. He needs all his secrets, because he's been caught, to die, because she's like, we're going to make you talk, because they have ways to do that with, certain techniques, we'll say, for interrogation. And he knows that. So, and you know who else knows that? It's Clea. So Clea's off, kind of mingling in to the crowd, blending in, seeing him go off in a space ambulance. And she's like, oh, I hope she's taking him to the space hospital, obviously, which was a nice looking hospital, I say. Even with all I guess, was it on Empire Campus? Empire Campus, was it? The whole thing is Empire Campus. But he's going to the hospital. She knows where he's going. So she's like freaking out because, like, they took my partner. Now, I always wondered, is there a partnership? Is there a, just like an apprenticeship to a master? Is there a family thing? Is there a dating thing? Yes, he's too old for her, but I don't know how things are in space world. It turns out that he kind of was her quote unquote father figure. Now he's farther away on an ambulance. Sorry about that. And how do they meet? Well, he was a soldier in the army. I'm guessing some sort of imperial division in the military that he didn't like doing, was not equipped for. It seemed like they were on some mission of just a complete massacre of these people. And we get flashbacks. Oh, we're getting flashbacks. This is an episode of Andor with zero Andor, and it was awesome. It was excellent, and it was necessary to have these big moments about the Death Star, because they still need to get that. That message still needs to get to the folks in Yavin, and of course, then they need to plan Rogue One. I feel like I want to watch these 3 episodes and then just immediately watch Rogue One, and then watch episode 4, and then episode 5, and then episode 6, and the others. So what the hell was I talking about? Oh, so we get the flashback of how they met. So we get this, it gave me Last of Us vibes, seeing like the man and the child kind of on an adventure together. I haven't seen 0 episodes of that show, but I need to watch all of that. And I can catch up pretty quick. We've seen that evidence here today as I'm watching and talking about Andor with you right now. So there's 2 concurrent stories going on. We get the flashback and we get the current episodes. Let's just go through the flashback now. He is a soldier. He has a different name. So the Luthen name is a name he created. The Clea name is a name he created. At some point, he says to her, "I'm Luthen now, and you're Clea," and that's all we need to know. So he is on the ship, and we see him through the perspective of someone hiding. Like, you can tell the way the camera's positioned on this ship, that we are in some sort of hidden compartment hiding with someone. It's shaking, it's nervous, but we see this guy who's supposed to be was he a general? And he was not into this massacre. He was like, make it stop, make it stop, make it stop. There's the title of your episode. She's seeing this guy who does not want to be part of this massacre, even though it seems like it's her people being massacred. And she makes a noise. He discovers her. And instead of turning her in or space shooting her, he says, shh, and he protects her and he hides her. Then he gets her out. We flash forward at a certain point, and they're wandering through areas together. They seem to find things. I don't know how they find them. Maybe they steal them. Maybe they kill someone. We don't know that. Maybe they come across them, legitimately, and then they sell them. And you could see she is part of this. Like, she's into the wagering or the bargaining with people. She's got a good head on her shoulders. But at a certain point, they come across a group of prisoners being brought out in front of all this public area with stormtroopers and basically firing a squad, lethal, enforcement, killing them, death penalty right there, assassination, whatever you want to call it. And Luthen did not want to see it. And she's like, why? She's like, wait. And she made herself watch this. She didn't look away. People were ducking their heads. People were crying. And she just watched this. And she says to Luthen, like, she catches up with him because he's like, you're on your own with this. And he walks off. I thought, wow, he's really just the ability to leave her. But he wasn't leaving. He was just walking away knowing she'd catch up. So she catches up and she's like, what are we going to do? We can't just do nothing. He's like, we have to, it was almost like we have to pick our fights, because you're going to lose, you're going to lose, you're going to lose, you're going to lose until you win. So he was kind of saying, you just got to listen to me. And when I say move, you move, which is something that he said to her earlier when he was like, I'll stay here and I'll deal with the, getting rid of everything. You go, you move. So they kind of they grew up together. And one guy goes, is that your daughter? She's like, yeah. Yes, that's my daughter. And then later she goes, so am I your daughter now? He's like, when you need to be. In other words, they're partners. It really is like a father-daughter situation. But they're also working together to kind of, I don't know, plan some sort of rebellion against the Empire. We don't know when they become part of something bigger, but we have another flash forward where they're at a cafe, and the plan is they were going to blow up these tanks on a bridge. They're in a cafe. You see all these Empire people all the way over there on this bridge, soldiers and stormtroopers and whatnot. And she's like, "Are we going to do it?" And he's like, "Oh, I don't think we should." He's not British. He's like, "I don't think, it's not the right time to do it." But she's like, "We need to do this." He's like, "Fine." He puts the button down. He's like, "You think you can do this in front of all these people? You shouldn't." And she goes to press the button. She did go to do it. He pulls it back. He's like, "No, no." And then he presses the button, and these tanks explode. People freak out. All these soldiers are killed. She goes, "Don't turn your head." She goes, "Turn your head." Or he said, "No, wait." He pressed the button, and then she turned her head. He goes, "Look at me." In other words, why would you turn your head before the explosion? People might notice this girl looked before the explosion happened. Anything to draw attention. He was teaching her, don't react early, because that may be a tell. So that was a cool little thing that he taught her. Don't react yet. But he definitely did blow up these soldiers, and people were freaking out, and then they walked off. But she kind of looked like, "Oh, I don't know if I can do this. I don't know if I can do this." And that kind of led to the current story that was going on now. In the current time, she goes back. We see her in this empty shell of a room, and you realize that's the safe house. It's been gutted, but it hasn't been fully gutted because she has some things hidden in the ceiling. She uses them. Some looks like there was, I think something was like a lockpick, like a cool electronic space lockpick. She gets to the hospital. She uses the lock. She kind of has her hand bandaged. My first thought was, wait, how did she hurt herself? Because I'm an idiot. Then I thought, oh, she hurt herself on purpose to get into the hospital. Another idiot. Instead of just putting on a bandage that looks like you hurt yourself, here I am thinking she actually did. She steals some doctor's scrubs or nurse's scrubs, and she wants to get. She sees these Imperial soldiers going to the 19th floor. She's like, I need to get up there. She didn't say that. So she borrows a granny. For a second, I thought, is that an ET? It wasn't. Like it could have been a weird cousin, but it was a cute little older, like elderly space alien who's like, oh, making little noises and stuff. And she's like, come on, we're going to bring you up. She says, oh, we need to find this girl, her family's up here. And the guy's like, sorry, it's special up here. No one's allowed. So she basically concocts this whole plan to break in, shoot a bunch of soldiers. And what she do? She presses a similar button, blows up similar like looking ships that were all parked, which brought everyone going in one direction as she went in the other direction to get in to see Luthen. And you think, or did any of you think she's here for a rescue? Because I didn't. A rescue maybe, but not a rescue for him, but a rescue for the rebellion. Now, before that happened, we get some stuff with the Empire, some stuff with Dedra. She's like yelling at this woman, you need to wake him up and keep him alive. We need to question him. And that she went above, beyond her Call of Duty. Like she worked off the record, like one of those cops, like, I don't work by the book. That's basically what she did. This whole thing, I guess the guy who's in charge, because remember a young guy took over, he's like, I don't care about the glory. And he, on her day off, on his day off, she did this operation on her own, called it on her own. It worked, sort of. If it worked correctly, she would have arrested him. Not, he didn't almost die. But she obeyed orders. So she was given, I guess, Space General Man, begins with a P, Portuguese. I'm sure that's not his name. He must have given the order because this guy showed up and is like, I'm here to arrest you. She's like, are you crazy? You're going to arrest me? He's like, yes, I am. You're under arrest, you are. And so she's like, fine, let's get this over with. So they head off. So where we leave her is she is under arrest somewhere. So I don't know if we're going to see some sort of tribunal. I like the word tribunal, even though I don't know what it is. I think it's like a trial. Some sort of where she has to be questioned, like she's in a room with a bunch of people questioning her, like Oppenheimer. But what she won't be able to do is interrogate Axis, because she's like, I found him. Oh, you found him, all right. And guess what? He's dead, because Cleo went in, and you knew it. She wasn't going in for a rescue. There was basically a respirator keeping him alive. Who knows if he even would have been able to talk, but you never know with these people in the forest. They might have been able to go into his brain and figure something out. Well, now they won't, because she disconnected this cool, I just love, I don't know, when these futuristic things that are very tactical, like real, like when she's separating the connections, I was just like, that's cool. I don't know why, but that's cool. Took off the breathing apparatus, and it just slowly, dead. Like it powered down, and he powered down. You could see she was crying because, yes, they were partners. Yes, they worked together, but that was basically her dad. That was her father. That was her, for all intents and purposes, right? Not intensive purposes. I'm sure I made that. Look, for she sees it as her dad. I'm not going to go on that nonsense. Whatever. She gives a little kiss, and she's tearing up, and he's just like, ugh. And it was very, like, sad to see. And I loved the choice. This is a small one. This is not, maybe, I don't know if it just hit me that it didn't cut away, show the director. It faded out. It faded out slowly to black. It was like, thank you, Stellan Skarsgård. Thank you, Luthen, for your service to the rebellion. And we're not just going to leave you. We're going to slowly go out with you, as almost like a sign of respect to the character. I don't know. For a show that's only had 2 seasons and, 20 something episodes, it was like, oh, and for a guy that you don't always agree with, but you knew he was on your side, it was just like, it was sad to see. But now we have to see what he's up to. Probably he's on Yavin. I'm going to guess he has a trusty robot sidekick. And hopefully Clay is going to get there, and they're going to lock eyes, and she's going to give like a little shake of her head. And he's going to go, oh no, what happened to Luthen? That's my Andor impression. At least I think, they're going to connect, and that's how he's going to find out. I could be wrong. She's got to get to Yavin. And Dedra's got to figure out how to not be arrested. It's going to be tough because she has nothing to give them, because the one piece that she put this all on is now dead. The other guy is dead. They don't know the word Yavin. If they did, the rebellion would be screwed. And we know that it isn't, for a long time, until, somebody strikes back. But that's it. I think I pretty much covered the gist of this episode. A great one. Another great one. Just like they have been, I've liked every single episode of this series and this season, but it feels like it picked up in these last 2 weeks. And now you're on edge because you realize the end is right around the corner. And I'm going to go watch the next episode right now. But until I get that out to you, which is either going to be tonight or tomorrow morning, I want to let you know that you can find me on all the socials at Geek Mentality, except TikTok, which is Geek Mentality Mike, because somebody took Geek Mentality. You can find our YouTube channel at Fans Not Experts, our Facebook page at Fans Not Experts, and that's because the website is fansnotexperts.com. That's it. I'm done. I'm going to make this episode stop right now. I'll talk to you soon, very, very soon. But until then, thank you for listening. Thank you for subscribing, and may the Force be with you.
Let's go!
Fans not experts.